Hello, welcome to my office. Have a seat, grab yourself a cup of coffee. Hey, I want to tell you about Maurice Schoenberg. In World War II, Maurice Schoenberg was a Jew in Poland, and he was hiding. He was hiding out in all these various places, and in order to flush out all these rebels, the Nazis they lit fires in the projects. Uh, and smoked him out. So that's how they caught this guy, Maurice Schoenberg, and they put him on a train to the concentration camp, the death camp, and everybody on that train knew they were doomed. They were headed for the gas chambers, or perhaps they'd work him to death for a while and then shoot him. Uh, Now, Maurice Schoenberg was a young guy. He didn't want to die. And he was looking for a way out of the train car. He wanted to break out, right? Because once they got to the concentration camp, that was it. Their chances of escaping were very slim at that point. They didn't think they'd be able to pull that off. Then, the Nazis weren't stupid. And so he was looking, but nobody was helping. All the other doomed passengers, his neighbors and other Jews, were laughing at him, thinking what a fool he was for trying to escape from this train. The bars, they had these high bars, they were barred off, so there was no getting out. So anyway, he was going around, everyone's laughing at him. Then finally one kid decided to help him, and he found a pipe, a metal pipe, but he needed the kid to help him lift the pipe, and they managed to hoist that pipe up there and slam it into the bars, and they pried it at the bar enough so that a body could slip through that. And this is a speeding train going down the tracks, right? Nobody wants to jump from a speeding train. You could get hurt. But on the other hand, when you're headed towards the death camp, it might be worth the risk. And that's exactly Maurice Schoenberg's situation. He's headed toward the death camp. So he pries that bar, and he and the kid jump out. Nobody else even was willing to try. These people were headed for the death camp, but they weren't even going to try to go through and jump. I guess they wanted to take their chances with the gas chamber, or hope for a miracle. I don't know. So Schoenberg jumps, and as it turns out, now he didn't have any major injury when he landed, and he was able to, escape. And I think this is a good metaphor for life, because in a sense we're all headed. Ultimately, we're all headed for trouble in the end, anyway. So we may as well find salvation, like jumping out of that train. You're headed for the gas chambers. Just jump from the train. But sometimes we're headed for troubles, and we know things in our life aren't going real well, and we know we're headed for that death camp. That's probably an exaggeration. Maybe it's not something that dark. Let's say we're headed for bankruptcy. Let's say we're headed for unemployment. Let's say we're something. We just know we're on the wrong track, right? And yet we don't want to we're kind of in a little bit of a comfort zone, and we don't want to jump out that window because we can get hurt. It's a risk. But we know if we don't take that risk, we're just getting closer and closer to something bad. So we need to make a calculated risk. Okay, that's something we can only figure out for ourselves. What's worth it? Ideally, we take small risks. With that, if they fail, it's not a total loss. But sometimes you got to take a little bigger risk and jump out that train and risk getting hurt, like Schoenberg did. He leapt out of that train and landed, and he didn't break an ankle, he didn't dislocate a shoulder or anything like that. So he had a good landing. And if you've done skydiving, you know that a proper landing, you got to learn. You got to land. You want to land properly. That's a big deal. If you've done jumping, if you jumped off roofs, you want to know how to land. We don't recommend that either. But you want to know how to land, because if you land properly, you're less likely to be injured. So Schoenberg had a good landing. So when we take a risk, we want to try to think about how our landing's going to be. Can we soften that landing? Can we stack the deck? Can we set ourselves up better for success. But at some point, we just are going to have to go for it. We're dead men walking. We're dead men walking, and we have nothing to lose by taking a risk in that kind of situation. So, there you go. That's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on Maurice Shainberg jumping from the train. He took a risk and it worked out. It worked out for him, and I think there's a lesson there that sometimes in life we also are in a similar situation where we're headed for trouble. Well, we just need to get out of our comfort zone and take a risk and do something. A no holds barred, aggressive, bold action in order to give ourselves a better chance. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Have a great after day and fight on.